At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Today on CityCast Philly, Philly's got a bus terminal problem. After Greyhound closed its 35-year-old bus station on Filbert Street in Chinatown back in 2023, finding a place to put a new terminal for inner-city buses has been a headache. Having people wait on the sidewalk between 6th and 7th and Market Streets for the bus to take them to New York City, Baltimore, D.C. became too chaotic. So the city opened what was supposed to be a temporary location right here along Spring Garden, near 2nd, Front, and Columbus Boulevard. But more than a year later, this makeshift bus terminal is still operating. And as we'll hear today, business owners in Northern Liberties are fuming. It's Thursday, March 20th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about.
Natalie McNeil, and I am the owner of N's Hair Design.
So, Natalie, where do the buses actually pull up?
So they pull up on Spring Garden Street between Front and 2nd. That's usually where they pull up. But they come down our street, Front Street, which has 2 lanes of traffic. And it's a small street. Yeah. And it's imagine buses on both sides going north and south. So a lot of times now we have to make sure that we turn our mirrors in on our cars so that something doesn't happen to them. And also a few times, actually often, we're running to the windows when we see the buses so very close to the cars. We're always afraid that one of the cars are going to get sideswiped.
And so we're in between Spring Garden on Front, and then this street right here is Fairmount.
Yes.
So Natalie, tell me about what's been happening over the past couple of months with this whole bus station.
So actually what's been going on, and it has been going on now for over a year, no parking for the clients. The homeless people are, trying to come into the salon. The bus people are trying to come into the salon. So now we have had to put a lock on our door, and we keep the door locked. And we also have had to install blinds so that people can't see straight through. And the 38 years that I've been in business, I've never had blinds on my windows, ever. But because of the unsavory characters that come sometimes with the inner city buses, it's a lot to be desired. So as far as the business goes, it has made us a little more afraid of, again, keeping the doors open, keeping our windows covered at a certain hour, and even just going in and out. We have to be more careful of, because people, they just walk by and pull the door open. So that's why we've had to lock it, so that people just come in, and they would come in and they would be going in our bathroom. Oh, can they use the bathroom? And you're being nice and friendly. Oh, you can use the bathroom. But some people were washing up in the bathroom and all kinds of things. So now we had to say no to anybody, they can't use the bathrooms. We've had to have the city come and clean up in front of our door, because we can't even get in the door because people have made pallets out there, mattresses and all kinds of things. And you have clients at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock, and you have to try to walk over that and then try to go out and clean it up before, your clients get here, or even while your clients are here. The parking is horrendous now. A lot of our clients catch the L, so they catch public transportation, and even them walking through that to come here, because it's right there underneath the L too. So walking through that and back through there to get back to the L has been challenging for some of the clients. They're complaining about it a lot. And some are even, saying that, oh, I don't know if I want to continue coming because it's getting scary for them. Now with daylight saving time, it's a little bright out a little longer. So that will help some, but the smell and the trash is terrible.
You told me that you've been at this location on Front Street for 15 years. There's also a lot of development happening. Do you think that is also adding to the lack of parking?
So it could be, yes. But when they're staying for hours and days, it's not from the people that live in the area, because they would move their car to go to work or to go out. And we'll see the people. We'll see them park their cars and then run to the bus. Because like on a Friday, you can stay there up until Monday, technically, because you don't have to move your car on the weekends. So on Saturdays and Sundays, whereas our clients used to be able to get a lot of free parking, they're not able to because the cars aren't moving. They're there until Monday at 8:30 when they start again.
Are you open on Sundays and Mondays?
We are open on Saturdays and Sundays.
We'll have more on the inner city bus stop debate after the break.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Are you holding back on foreign travel plans this year because you're afraid of the language gap? I'm not, because I have Babbel. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I'm learning Spanish on Babbel, getting ready for a trip to Mexico City. Babbel is the language learning app that gets you talking. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or at whatever pace you choose. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. Babbel has given me great lessons on getting directions, ordering in a restaurant, and making plans. And of all the things I'm doing in Mexico City, I'm probably most excited about the soccer game we're going to. So I was excited to learn how to cheer from Babbel. That'll be me you'll hear yelling, "Fuerza Tigres! Fuerza Tigres!" With over 16 million subscriptions sold, Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by a 20-day money-back guarantee. Let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting our listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
You said that the city came out to do some cleaning. Is that frequently? How often is the cleaning?
So they came out when we started complaining, calling Squilla's office.
Right. That's Council Member Mark Squilla, who represents District 1, which your business and the bus stop is in.
When we heard that they were about to put the porta potties or toilets, whatever they want to call them, at the corner of our block, on our block, taking up parking spaces, we immediately started calling, and we did get a response. We were able to get a meeting with Squilla, the city representative, someone from Otis.
And Otis is the Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems here in the city.
And I think the Commerce Department. They cleaned up, but they had never done that before. And even since then, we haven't seen them cleaning up. Our landlord for this building, he has paid somebody now to come weekly and clean up some of the debris because we're complaining about it so much. And even the tenants on the block, because above us are tenants in some of their apartments. So he's paying out of his pocket to have somebody come and clean the block so it looks decent. So I've recently had a meeting with Otis the city's Commerce Department, and a representative from the Northern Liberties Business Association.
Okay, so representatives came out recently. What did they say or do to address your concerns?
How's it going? And I said, terrible. The same. Oh, well, what can we do that would make it a little easier on the business? And I said, really, there's nothing that you can do. I said, because they were like, what if we had a building, or what if we had more trailer type of, and it was not in the street, but maybe in a parking lot. And so I said, it still wouldn't. I said, because it's still the element that comes. I said, I had a business in Center City for 23 years, and I remember what 11th and Filbert looked like, and that was a whole block of building. I said, so it's not the building, it's just the element that the bus terminals or bus stations bring to the area. I said, and for a small business, that's a lot of like safety and crime, and we steered clear of 11th Street. So I said, so that being a part of the plan still wouldn't work out for us as small businesses on this block. I said, it might be okay for larger businesses, corporate type of, or big box. I said, but for us, people wouldn't want to come. When we chose the addresses where we've chosen to be in certain areas. We pay, rent, we pay our tech, we pay all this because we wanted that look and that aesthetics and that environment for our clients, which is why we chose the area. I said, and now to have something like this come, it changes the whole, scenario. And I said, I might have to consider moving, because that's not what I want for my clients. And I know my clients don't want that. And some of my clients been coming for 20, 30 years. And we're okay with change, but good change. We don't want things to be going backwards.
It seems like it was a good thing that they came out to check on how things were. Do you feel that way, or?
So I can say yes.
But what I hear you saying is that you still don't feel like it's really fixing some of these issues that you've been dealing with because of this move to have the bus terminal in this side of town.
Correct. And, they said temporary, and I kept saying temporary permanent because it was supposed to be temporary from the get. And it's been over a year that it's been here now. And what are your plans? What are the other plans? Where are the other locations that you're looking at? Where are the other what's going on with that? We do have some other things, but nothing definitive. And we feel like it's coming, even though we're saying it's going to harm our businesses. That was the feeling that I kind of got at the end of the meeting. And I met with them for about 30, 40 minutes. And I expressed my displeasure, and all the other businesses that weren't even able to make it. They were like, you can be our spokesperson, because we all feel the same exact way, even though we can't get to the meeting. So they came here, but everybody feels the same way.
I got a chance to speak with your neighbors a few doors down, Caitlin Berman and Andrew Bursler of the Dahlia Collective, a tattoo shop who also have been affected by the bus stop.
So my whole kind of issue with it is I feel like the businesses haven't really been informed very well. They've kind of just sprung a lot of things on us. And then I remember we went to one city hall meeting, and it kind of just seemed like they were just letting us talk and then not really making changes. Kind of felt like it was just yeah, we're going to let you talk, but we're already kind of doing our thing. But we brought a lot of backlash that time, so that kind of stopped them from putting the porta potties on our block directly. But that was the first time we kind of heard about this.
Have you guys ever had to deal with telling someone no? There's a sign that says no public restrooms.
We try not to be sticklers like that. We have pregnant people come in here, people with children, they need to change a diaper or something like that. Yeah, of course, we're going to be reasonable and do it. But we also have people who are just coming in from the buses, just partying in town. They just want to use our bathroom, leave, kind of mess it up, and then we got to clean it up. And people get real mad when you say no, starts fights. We've had a lot of problems with the public restroom before, and we try to be complacent with it. We try to be understandable. At the end of the day, we're a business, And we're not their janitors, you know? Like, we're here to tattoo. We're not here to just provide a bathroom for everyone.
Or to babysit someone who's come in and locked themselves in the bathroom for a half an hour doing, like, God knows what, you know?
Yeah.
Which, again, like, no judgment, but this is a business, and it's definitely, it makes me uncomfortable working here. I'm sure it would make a, client uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, it's a vulnerable area because, some people are back there and they're getting tattooed. They're in a pretty vulnerable place. They want it to feel like a safe place. So having like outside stuff like that happen can, it can really hurt us.
Feel like you have an ally in any of this, or do you feel like your experiences aren't really being heard?
I think they're hearing them because we're voicing them, and we're voicing them loud and clearly. But if anything is going to change their minds or have them put it somewhere else, we're not so sure of that. I really poured it all out. Like, I put it all out there. Like, we can't survive this. Like, we're not going to be, as a small businesses, we're not going to be able to survive this. Again, my feeling was that it's going there, whether we like it or not. Because they just kept saying, well, what if we make sure it's clean? What if we add more lighting? What if we find another location?
Even with those improvements and the bus terminal is still here, how close would you be to packing it all up and leaving?
Very close. Close. Very. I love this area and everybody that's chosen to be on this block. And it's 8 businesses on this block. Small businesses.
There's a tattoo shop.
Store.
There's a gym.
There is an acupuncture. There's a dance studio with kids as young as 1 year old. And they're very fearful because, again, the elements of people these kids come in here, and sometimes they're here 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night doing dance classes, young girls, teenagers.
Any other last thoughts?
We don't want it here. We want our businesses to thrive and survive. And I also told them, we're still trying to recover from COVID. These small mom and pop size businesses, we have not recovered from COVID yet. And now we're having another strain. It's all pulling business away from us. So it's just detrimental.
Natalie, thank you for joining me on CityCast Philly today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me to actually have a voice.
No, thank you for trusting me. We reached out to the Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems, also known as OTIS, to get a comment for this story. We asked if and when there's going to be a new location for the inner city bus terminal. And we also asked about the city's previous promise to install trailers at the current temporary location so passengers have a place to wait or go to the bathroom. We did not hear back. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Let us know what you think of this episode. Tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit the subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the Friday News Roundup. Bye.